week number 2. In this week's reading, you're going to be focusing on the role of using teachers to help in the evaluation process, also focusing on the evaluation cycle, also looking more at the collaboration process between supervisors and teachers, but also looking at and going back to how do we retain teachers, more so our experienced teachers, so that they can continue to work with and collaborate with more of our newer teachers. You have a couple of little short videos that you're going to look at. One of them is talking about the TAP program, one program that is currently being employed across the country to work with your more veteran teachers, so that way, because there's a number of them that are wanting to move out of the classroom but want to still be involved in helping mentor and work with new teachers. And so the video kind of explores programs, or specifically schools that are using these types of programs to work with their mentors and to train them. For this week's reading, please be sure to read chapters 9 and 10 in Sir Giovanni, Starlet, and Chow, as well as the additional reading assignment, which is the TAP system for teacher and student advancement. Please make sure you have read both of those by the end of the week.
TAP is not a solution to the quest for systemic teacher quality reform, but rather, TAP is the solution. Now, this statement is a pretty significant claim, but it's based on two principal features of the system. TAP is constructed correctly and comprehensively.
From California to South Carolina, educators and their students are experiencing new levels of success with TAP, the system for teacher and student advancement. The TAP system is a powerful engine that builds capacity and generates achievement by its very design.
The heart of TAP is that it is really a system that aligns everything. It's all together. People can talk the same language and they have a common understanding of what good teaching looks like.
The system is like a bridge that carries kids from one level to another level, and if all the pieces of the bridge are in place, you've got a wonderful structure, and that's what makes that system so special.
Cluster meetings are the professional development that we do every week. You're looking at your students and what deficiencies they have and where you can implement a very powerful strategy to help with those.
What do we want to know about the character? That she has brown hair?
Their traits.
Okay, traits.
And feelings.
It's not a one-shot deal like most of our professional development in the past was. We had an hour, we teach a strategy, okay, here we go use it. In TAP, we're breaking one strategy out into 12 weeks, and so it allows the teacher to master the strategy piece by piece, so it's almost the teachers and the students mastering the strategy at the same time.
Yeah.
The TAP system allows you to move through the career ladder to a mentor teacher, where you share the responsibilities of a classroom career teacher and a teacher leader. And then finally a master teacher, where you can share with other people the knowledge that you have gained over time, and you can do it without leaving the classroom setting, which most of us desire.
And master teacher has a wonderful job, and they're responsible for a lot of things, coaching teachers, going into classroom, modeling lessons, also helping teachers plan lessons.
For our school principals, it's really exciting that they don't have to be the only instructional leader in the building, that there are many instructional leaders in the building. There's a variety of teacher leaders who are taking on those roles and that responsibility.
We always want to be keeping the rubric in the back of our minds.
I've been an educator for 40 years. Never have I seen a system that actually addresses teacher evaluation in an effective and meaningful way and ties it to professional development. With TAP, that evaluation is meaningful, and it's based on a rubric that is rigorous, and it's based on training of the evaluators, and the multiple evaluators is just a bonus.
The instructional rubric is effective because we're teaching them those skills and the knowledge that we're giving them, and then we're supporting that effort.
I have sat down with teachers before and looked at the TAP portal. I've led them to certain videos that are on the TAP portal. It's a tool that I find very useful.
I work at a high poverty school, high at-risk school, and one of my selling points is always when I'm interviewing teachers, I can say to them, you want to come and work at our school because you're going to work hard wherever you go. but we will be able to compensate you for that.
With that opportunity for performance-based pay, we say to our teachers, when you are effective, when you add real value to our students, then we treat you as a professional. We pay you for what you bring to the table.
It's not about performance-based pay. It's about good, solid, rock-solid teaching. And if our students are doing better because of something we're doing through the TAP system, then everybody wins.
We can afford nothing but the best when it comes to our children's teachers and the schools where they teach. It's why we're building on the promising work being done in the Teacher Advancement Program and making an unprecedented commitment to ensure that anyone entrusted with educating our children is doing the job as well as it can be done.
The current administration in Washington believes that education is the best investment to make. And they believe that the TAP model is going to be an effective reform model that can make us more competitive nationally and internationally and close the achievement gap.
I was very excited to see President Obama embrace the concept of performance pay and even make specific reference to TAP. I hope that he really moves aggressively to encourage states and school districts to move to a TAP-like model.
That validation has continued with 25 grants from the Federal Teacher Incentive Fund in the last 7 years, awarding more than $500 million to projects implementing or based on the TAP system. This funding has enabled TAP to reach more than 20,000 teachers and 200,000 students nationwide. In addition to commitments at the federal level, the TAP system has enjoyed from the very beginning widespread support from a variety of organizations and agencies, ensuring its ongoing presence and continuing impact on the landscape of modern American public education.
Our course is correct, our compass set, and our destination clear and reachable. A destination of effective teachers in all classrooms, imparting the sound education all students need for the secure future all students deserve.
Welcome to the HB 3 and 30 webinar on the teacher incentive allotment. This presentation will be led by Ali Friedlander, the Program Manager for Teacher Leadership and Strategic Compensation, and Tim Riegel, the Associate Commissioner for Instructional Support. This webinar is part of the HB 3 and 30 series and will focus on the sections of the bill related to the teacher incentive allotment and the local optional teacher designation system. We will cover the funding related to the teacher incentive allotment, describe the local optional teacher designation system, the general approval process, and then wrap up with a timeline and next steps. We are going to start our presentation with an overview of the teacher compensation increases in HB 3, some of the recommendations from the Texas Commission on Public School Finance, and key points related to the teacher incentive allotment. There were 3 sections of House Bill 3 that addressed teacher compensation. First, HB 3 increased the state minimum salary schedule by $5,500 to $9,000 per year of service. Second, HB 3 required districts to use 30% of any budgetary increase as a result of HB 3 on staff compensation, 75% of which needed to go towards teachers, librarians, counselors, and nurses. Districts needed to abide by these first 2 compensation requirements as applicable. The third section of House Bill 3 that deals with teacher compensation is the teacher incentive allotment. Optionally, districts may choose to participate in the teacher incentive allotment, which is the focus of today's webinar. For more information on teacher compensation increases in HB 3, please visit the link at the bottom of this slide. The Texas Commission on Public School Finance recommended that the legislature create an allotment to provide a realistic pathway for top teachers to earn 6-figure salaries, and one that would both help attract and retain highly effective teachers in traditionally hard-to-staff schools. The Commission suggested this would allow for a more equitable distribution of effective teachers and allow school districts to better target professional development to the specific needs of its educators. Research shows that these types of teacher incentive programs can have a positive impact on recruitment and retention within a district, which is what this allotment aims to do. One of the challenges the Commission and legislator wanted to address was the challenge of recruiting people into the teaching profession. One of those recruitment challenges is the minimal interest in teaching as a profession shown by high school students, with only approximately 4% of high school students taking the SAT or ACT indicating an interest in majoring in education. The second part of this slide shows parent responses when asked if they would want their children to become teachers. This is the first time in the history of the survey that the majority of parents did not want their children going into teaching. Another recruitment challenge is the perception that compensation for teachers play into the career choices for those students who do not choose teaching as a profession. As the slide indicates, students who do not choose teaching as a profession point to salary and compensation as a significant factor in their determination. As the green bars indicate, the top 4 factors are all related to compensation, and particularly the perception that teaching fails to compensate for skill and performance. Not only do we see challenges related to the recruitment of teachers, we also see issues across Texas in terms of the equitable distribution of experienced teachers. If you look at the blue and orange bars in this chart, you'll see that our teachers who have not yet completed preparation and our novice teachers are teaching at campuses with significantly higher percentages of economically disadvantaged students. Conversely, if you look at the gray bar, those are our most experienced teachers, and they are teaching at campuses with lower percentages of economically disadvantaged students. Finally, we see challenges with teacher retention. This slide shows that the teacher you are most likely to encounter in school today is one who just started teaching. Similarly, the second most likely teacher you will find is in their second year, and so on. You are least likely to find teachers with 10 or more years of experience. These 3 factors, recruitment, equitable distribution of effective teachers, and retention, were the driving force behind the teacher incentive allotment, which we'll now explore specifically. As we dive into the teacher incentive allotment, there are a few points we want to stress. First, participation is completely optional. Second, districts looking to participate will need to develop a system to designate its high-performing teachers as master, exemplary, or recognized, and we'll provide more details on this later in the webinar. Third, districts that opt to participate and employ designated teachers will receive additional funds. Districts can receive up to $32,000 per teacher per year based on a few different factors. This allotment's funding formula adds additional weight for both rural and high-needs campuses. And districts will need to spend at least 90% of their allotment funds on teacher compensation on the campuses where the designated teacher works. Finally, TEA and Texas Tech will approve local designation systems in an effort to ensure validity and reliability across the state.